Greetings, friends. Welcome back to the Film Alchemist podcast. I'm your host, Josh Griffey, here with a brief introduction before today's stunning beginning to Damn Dirty April. That's right. This April, we're going through the entire franchise of Planet of the Apes. Every single movie. Today, I hope you enjoyed Planet of the Apes, right? Yesterday. Today, you will be getting Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Kind of the same movie, but with some super weird science fiction mayonnaise on it. Very strange movie that is adorable in its own way. Very endearing in its own way. Now, if you want to get every episode this month as part of our Patreon exclusives, you got to go over there, man. Patreon.com/FilmAlchemistPod. So, number 4, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. The second Andy Serkis, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and Maki Mark will be our feature-length commentary this month. So if you want the maximum amount of apes in your life and the Film Alchemist podcast in your life, go to patreon.com/FilmAlchemistPod. We appreciate it so much that you guys support us. You can also leave 5-star ratings and reviews on all your apps. You can also specifically invite your friends to join us in this madhouse. But more than anything, guys, we just hope you enjoy your time. Make sure you go check out Jay Rollins' art everywhere on social media. I personally have had some artwork done by Jay. He's done the amazing image that we are using to promote this month. He's a wonderful man, a wonderful artist, and we love talking with him very much. So without any more yapping, Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
I can't help thinking somewhere in the universe there has to be something better than man.
We have seen the birth of the Planet of the Apes!
Let's go explain evolution to the monkeys.
You may not like what you find.
You blew it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell! It's a madhouse! A madhouse! Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty...
April! I'm just kidding, it's me.
All right, guys, we are back. We are back with Beneath the Planet of the Apes, continuing our Damn Dirty April marathon. Joined again by our friend and co-host for this journey, Jay Rollins. Welcome.
Well, thank you. May the bomb provide.
That's right. May the bomb provide.
May the bomb provide.
And may the bomb provide a little more narrative help next time. Is what I would say for this. Beneath the Planet of the Apes is a strange movie because it's essentially
15 minutes long? Yes, agreed.
Yes, it's a retelling of the Planet of the Apes film that we all loved and watched with a Wish.com Charlton Heston. Then it takes just an abrupt, ridiculous, hard sci-fi turn for the ending. I think what I take away from this movie is I just love that it is so fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
So let's kick it to Jay. Jay, opening thoughts on Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
I said this a little bit before we started, but I remember it being better, and it's because the last
yeah.
It's because of the last 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes is the full narrative. It's the worship of the bomb. It's Zardoz of the Apes. But like the whole, like I am. You don't need Brent.
No.
I like his reaction to seeing a payphone and being like, "My God, you blew it up!" Like, what's the point? And that was literally the halfway mark of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we're like, now we're all caught up.
Right.
Yeah.
Where he's all caught up. We already know.
We just redid the first movie.
Yeah, but bad.
For a while.
And he.
Well, what's weird is you redo the movie, but like in reverse somehow. Like, because like by the time they get back to Ape City, and this is actually.
Which is what Brent named it, by the way.
Yeah.
I just got back from Ape City. Nobody told him that.
This is like probably one of my favorite parts in the movie. Like, again, I love Beneath the Planet of the Apes simply because it makes no sense. Like, it is like truly and honestly until the last 15 minutes of the movie, you're like, is this like just a documentary or something like that? Did someone leave the camera on after they finished the last one and some guy walked up? He says, huh, interesting. I guess I could make something out of this. But because the scene, I told Groovy this before the pod, it's when he's, the first time he comes upon Ape City and when like Ursus is giving a big speech about like, let's invade the Forbidden Zone for absolutely no reason other than just food. Like, all right, whatever.
They're starving, yeah.
So he's giving this big speech, and then it cuts back to James Franciscus, and he's like, my God, it's... And I swear to God, every time, I've seen this movie enough to know what the line is. I want him every time to deadpan, turn to the camera, and just go, it's a planet of the apes. and I'm like, every time, I know what he's going to say, but I'm like, come on, bro. I know you're going to do this. Like, let's get it going.
Yeah, see, that was the thing. They added Ursus, which I thought was a cool character, right? Because in the first one, the gorillas are just our jackbooted thugs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one, seeing Ursus, who's now seen their society have to deal with a tailor, right? Dealing with starvation, he's like, I'm going to take military power, right? What he says in the end, only power matters, right?
Right.
He's doing this, like, Nuremberg rally, a dead human's a good human, all this shit. I thought that was great. Mm-hmm. Seeing them fucking overrun the chimpanzee protesters.
Really cool.
I was like, all right, this is not bad. Because I think the problem with this one is they lost that pointed kind of, examination of society, right? There's flashes of it in this, but they are fucking rare, right? They're the useless parsley on top of the otherwise odd movie.
Well, there's like two.
So
there's two social commentary subplots they're trying, but never actually get there. That's what's going on.
Yeah, I think the very end it gets there like a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
the second. There's two subplots. One of which never comes to fruition, which is the apes invading the Forbidden Zone, and the second one happens in the last 15 minutes. We're like, we got to get in this movie. My God! All right, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it's now. They
holy shit! You see what time it was? We got to finish this flick.
Yeah. Have you guys seen any food here in the Forbidden Zone? I'm confused.
This was a good enough premise if you just like. First of all, the opening, whoever like put this movie together didn't understand a lot of stuff from the first movie. Yeah. So like, and this is a big swing, but like, okay, Brent is on a rescue mission.
Yeah.
To save Taylor? No, he's not. What? He went on a mission to find another planet, and when you go faster than light, you go into the future in time. I wrote down he went into a Heflon curve, and that's why he's in the future. That's not what that was.
It's like that
also
episode.
when he hit the Heflon curve in the first one, that was his hypothesis, right? So that took him to somewhere he was not prepared to go, right? So he essentially did a full circle. He went right back to Earth. Right. So the fact that they were aiming at that is confusing to say the least, right? That they're like, oh, that must be what happened to him, rather than he just made it to a distant planet, which was his fucking goal.
Right.
Again, I think this is just like they're like, we need more, because again, the second part of the movie is just pure fucking schlock, right? It's almost like a 1950s sci-fi movie.
Oh, totally.
So I think they're like, we need to keep this Planet of the Apes thing going that everyone liked, without understanding the impact of the first movie. That it was not just because there were apes living in houses, right? It was all the other subtext of that.
Planet of the Stardust Omega Man. We're just movies. We're making movies. We're doing what people like, guys.
It is this like the mutant thing, the like nuclear mutant thing does have this like really shitty Omega Man vibe. Like that's the thing that I think hurts the most, is because I fucking love the Omega Man. And when you get to that part, you're just like, dude, why are you in, like, first off, it's like the weirdest these mutants. I'm like, it should be cold down there. I don't understand why you guys are in these beautiful ceremonial garbs that just like
I love the mutants in this, honestly.
No, I didn't say I didn't like them. I'm saying I don't understand why they're wearing such ornate garbs. Like they should just be pretty much naked.
I mean,
neither here nor there.
Yeah, well,
it's the 70s. Come on.
So we were talking about how the allegory of the first one was class struggle. The allegory of this one is the Cold War.
Yeah.
And the apes are America. Militaristic. And I don't know how the people, I mean, I guess they worship the bomb. Like what they thought the USSR was is like the materialistic apes. What? No, they're not. No, they're not. They're kind of, I don't know. I've never seen them like care about material goods up there.
Yeah.
They're ranked based on their clothing. They live in sort of like a weird communist sort of pseudo-communist.
For Haiti,
USSR
that's
world.
what. Perhaps
they jailed protesters. They're very USSR, the apes. Yeah.
Perhaps that's what
America does that too.
Yeah,
fair enough. Also fair. Yeah.
perhaps that's what it is like the underground dwellers, these mutant people, are all in this sort of, there is no caste society that they live in. They're all the same sort of mutant, bomb worshipping weirdos.
Right. Well, they all can enter each other's heads, so they're kind of a hive mind, right?
Right.
I think is the theory.
That's what it is. Like that's the true communism, really, I think.
Yeah, it's weird though, because I like the idea of this mutant society that grew underground. But again, it adds all these like weird questions, right? Like they had this great thing, they just didn't really like put the effort into like thinking through. So they have this nuke, which somehow was in New York, right? I don't know if we had nukes in the middle of New York City back
Nobody
when
knew where the nukes were then. Now we all do.
So they had this nuke that is at least 2,500 years old.
Yeah.
So the idea that this thing could just be launched, right? Because I thought that was going to be the gag at the end. Because it's like, why wouldn't you launch that as the apes were first like, oh my God, are they framing a 2-story launch? Psh, like why let them get as far as they are, right? Like handle that before. Oh my God, is that a Starbucks? Pff, right? And just blow the fucking apes out of the water. So I thought the gag was going to be is that they thought they had this missile, but it didn't do anything. Right? I think it actually worked really well. The way they deployed it at the very end.
Oh yeah, with Superman's console, that was nice.
Yeah.
When Kal-El or Jor-El's just like, well, fuck
it.
I need to find a new place to traject my son. But
they didn't know where the bombs were. They didn't know what they looked like. They didn't know how you launched them. Yeah. They just were making it up as they go.
I love it.
Well, the idea of, right, the bomb made us. The bomb is this like life-giving, peace-giving force, right? It's that Carlin line, right? Making bombs for peace is like fucking for abstinence.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, that's a pretty good like setup they have in the movie. And I love the bit where Taylor and Wish.com Taylor get locked in the cell together. And the dude makes them fight, and he's like, we're not bad or warlike people. We have our enemies kill each other.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You guys are both in the military. Get the fuck out of here.
Right, he's making them, like, he's mind controlling them to hurt each other. I thought that was a cool idea. Right, but that same guy who makes them fight, right, the gigantic black guy who lives in the sewer and is telekinetic.
Right.
At the start, he's mad that new Taylor is fucking with him. And so he makes him choke Nova. As he's choking her, pull her up and kiss her. And I was like, dude, this guy's got some kinks he's working out. That guy's got some serious. Because I was like, the choking made sense when he's like, now kiss her on the lips as she's taking her last breath. I was like, dude, these fucking mutants are messed up.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about Nova because Nova is, from the beginning, taking all of it like a champ. She's wearing her white robes, just like watching these people sing, like, this is new. This is some fun. Like, she's a wild animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be just climbing the fucking walls. She should be running away. She should be scratching people. Every time Charlton Heston tried to kiss her, she should have been biting his neck.
Absolutely.
When she saw Heston fall through the rock, she's just like,
all right. Well,
better ride off to get help on my horse. He fell into a rock, lady.
There
like,
is no, so like that is bonkers, and I love it. Like that should have been just get Brent out of there. We don't need a Brent.
Man, by the way,
start the movie where it starts. Although it's so weird, right after watching the first movie into the beginning of this one, where it's like, Zira, Cornelius, untie me. No, you just said that you were gonna put me in jail. I don't think I'm untying anybody. Yeah, I'm going into the Forbidden Zone too. Bye. And then they run out. after Taylor because he, at the end of the first movie, he just said, "You're going on trial. You're going to jail. You're going underground forever." And they're like, "No, peace." They go.
What happened to Dr.
Zone.
Zaius? This big ass rock fell on his head. It was the damnedest thing. I had no idea.
They find themselves in the New York City subway, and Cornelius is just like, all of this writing, all of this infrastructure. It's true. It's all true. Like he'd be blown away. It'd be so cool. He's walking down the tunnel, and he sees somebody praying, and obviously he thinks it's an ape. And he's like, "Excuse me, who are you?" He turns around and it's a human, and he starts talking, and then he starts like, "The apes have found us." Oh,
I
shit.
also love the gorilla skulls are too thick to use our telekinesis on. I was like, that was writing 101. So they're like, why don't they just, do the mind control body shock to all the gorillas? Their skulls are too thick. Nailed it. This is why we have a writer's room. You killed it.
You can also explain
Paul Mort. Great call.
You can totally explain Dr. Zaius and the lawmakers' disdain for humans and the buildup of the military, which is like the question I had in the last one, like, what's the military for? You can explain all of that if the orangutans know that there are super intelligent humans in the Forbidden Zone underground.
Right.
Well, and I think that's what I think Zaius knows for sure. I think Dr. Zaius knows like all this shit. I think
I think that's what Zaius meant when he said you might not like what you find.
I think that's
talking
exactly
about the Statue of Liberty. He doesn't know what the Statue of Liberty is.
I mean, I think Zaius is talking about. I think Zaius was talking about all of it. I think Dr. Zaius is sort of this. Dr. Zaius has explored this whole fucking thing. He's probably not told anyone he's been to the Forbidden Zone like on his own. But I think Dr. Zaius, like this dude is the devil on your shoulder saying, "Hey, let's fucking go to the Forbidden Zone and look at these weird freaks in the basement."
Well, he's also the one that knew that that scene was metal as fuck. When they projected upside down crucified apes in this like hell of fire, I was like, fuck yeah. And the gorilla's like, "Oh God, it's our God, the lawgiver, he's bleeding." And his statue's bleeding. I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude. Zaius is the one who's like, it's an image and rode into the fire. He's also the one that found the little tunnel into the system.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it stands to reason, right? If there was this nuclear fallout, and somehow these civilized apes were able to survive that and build a society, it stands to reason that some humans also survive that as well. Right? So I love that idea of Zaius kind of being this in-between. Because even that scene when he's talking to Cornelius and Zira, and he's talking about how he knows that Ursus is a fanatic, right? He knows that he's insane, but he has all this military power. He knows, but he doesn't seem that concerned about it because he still needs it, right? So again, I think the addition of the gorilla military and the mutants were great touches. Yeah, the gorilla-tary. I thought that was really good, right? But again, we just had to do this like rehashing, right? This fucking Shakespeare in the Park version of the first one.
Yeah.
Because it's like we didn't learn anything new from Brent seeing and reacting the exact, almost beat for beat, line for line, how Charlton Heston reacted.
Right.
Right? So if you just drop that in, whether it's, Cornelius or Zira, or maybe Nova becomes our, like, POV, because she's also having her worldview shattered, right? Whoever it is, get us to that next step, right? It would have been nice to have a little bit longer time. How many of these fucking mutants are there? How do they fucking live, right? We see, like, 10 of them in, like, 2 ornate rooms in a jail cell.
I think the criminal underserved in this movie, because I agree with you, is that we don't have Zira as the main character of this movie. Because the interesting thing about Planet of the Apes is not humans. Like, that has been established every single time they have done one of these. Every single time they have done a Planet of the Apes movie, the apes are the interesting characters in the movies. I almost routinely am uninterested when they focus solely on humans. Now, like, human-ape interaction is always interesting to watch because there's a lot of conversation to be had. But, like, whenever there's a majority conversation about human life in these movies, I almost check out a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is we spend so much time with Wish.com, Charlton Heston, who, by the way, James Francisco has clearly refused to do all his own stunts, because when they're doing that padlock, when doing that cell chase on the horseback thing, and I'm like, we keep cutting between green screen and whoever the stunt guy was. Like, they would James Francis was like, guys, I'm a TV guy. All right, I can't do this. He must just
the
throw his
budget on
hands up.
this one. Budget on this one must have dropped because they had to do that whole crowd scene and everybody looks like a blow up doll.
So you can see, when there's any ape that's not delivering dialogue, it's rough.
Oh yeah,
it's like Halloween. But again, they probably made 300 masks and costumes for this.
So they originally had a budget of $5. I read this. They originally had a budget of $5 million. In the middle of production, it had its budget reduced to 2.5 because they had lost money on Star, Hello Dolly, and Tora Tora Tora, apparently. And I didn't know this, but the council chamber for the mutants and the temple where the bomb is apparently repurposed 42nd Plaza and Harmonia Garden sets from Hello Dolly.
Jesus.
Which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, so let's get to...
My mom has a reason to watch it now.
Let's get to Ursus and the gorillas, right? Because that shot of the army, like, mounting up, right?
Pretty cool.
I thought there were some awesome moments. When they were doing their we're going to train to kill human shot, as New Taylor and Nova are being rolled through in the cage.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. Like, they have a guy who's just practicing, like, lassoing them with whips and shit. They're diving into dummies. I thought that was amazing, right? I love seeing them on the march. What is Ursus's big game here? Is this his chance to take over the ape society?
I think it's an ape society. Yeah, absolutely. Because, the other thing, too, is, like, Zeus, like, during that speech about, the lawgiver and the gods, like, I don't know about you guys. I always feel like Zeus is just, like, rolling his eyes like, oh, God, these freaks. I'm a scientist. And then, but
the orangutans are in the middle, right? Because they're science and religion.
They're science and religion.
But they're not as smart as the scientists, but they're also smarter than the religious fanatics, the gorillas.
But
so they're always in betwixt.
Of the faith. They know that the faith is all about keeping the secret. Like,
the most religious people are the ones that know it's bullshit. Like, like the Pope. The Pope probably has less belief in God than any person that exists.
It's a real It's a real Sea Org thing for sure.
Yeah.
Do you actually believe in this shit?
Yeah, the Pope's just in there in his fucking, Liberace gowns. Like, dude, this is a great racket. This is a great racket. That's what Zeus needed. He needed some more blinged out robes.
But I think that, like, what's interesting, and for me, when you watch it, again, this movie really doesn't kick off until like 40 minutes into the movie. But I really like that. Essentially, the industrial military complex starts becoming like, oh, we'll just do whatever we want. No one's going to argue with us because because we're the fucking military. Like, who's going to say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this society is primitive enough where no one's going to argue with us. And the people who do, like, these peaceful chimpanzee protesters are like, don't kill anybody, but just move them out of the way. Like, there's this sense of, like, we don't need the hippies fucking up our shit. We're trying
and
to
they're making real social commentary. I don't know who fucked up this movie. I don't know who. Somebody had something to say. There's stuff in it. Somebody had something to say.
Richard Zanuck fucked this movie up, is what
it was there, just not explored enough.
But I don't know who said, like, you need a whole half of the movie to be. I mean, I know we keep harping on this, but, like, you need the first half of the movie to be last week on Planet of the Apes. Just
I can tell you from what I've read and from what I find interesting about this is, for one, Richard Zanuck got fired as the head of the studio at one point in the middle of production of this movie. But for one, Charlton Heston requested to be killed off at the very beginning, and they were like, nah, we can't really do that. Like, I think this is like that studio interference story we always hear. But, like, for me, from a storytelling perspective, what makes Beneath the Planet of the Apes sort of like probably the least watchable one in the original series is that they put stock in the wrong pieces of storytelling. And it's like, we all watched it, and obviously I wasn't alive then, but, like, we all saw it. And we all value the things that Planet of the Apes does and Planet of the Apes says. What studio executives at that time maybe were looking at is like, oh, well, Charlton Heston's in the movie. That's why people are going to go see this.
Yeah.
Like, that I think it's putting the stock in the wrong piece of iconography. The iconography we're all watching is holy shit. This is a society that built themselves, like the caste system, and these are also apes. Like the makeup's awesome, that kind of shit.
And then when you're a kid, you're like, fuck, they added mutants. This is great.
Right. What no one went to the original movie going is like, did you know that Charlton Heston was in this movie shirtless? My God. I mean, like absolutely nobody went in. Sorry.
You're totally right. So they got us a new Charlton Heston because they knew that's what the people wanted.
With a couple more abs, and that was it.
Yeah, he is a better looking Charlton Heston. He's still got like he's like
5'8", so he doesn't eat as much.
He doesn't
petite.
He doesn't look as grizzled as Charlton, but he does. Like I'm looking at his face, I'm like, this man is 35, and then I look at all the creases on his face. And what happened to you?
Secrets.
I'm still fascinated
the 70s, dude. Yeah,
by the aging.
SIGs
back
and
then.
0 SPF, dude. That's what happened.
SIGs and ribeyes. That's what happened.
My favorite part, though, when Charlton Heston comes back, when he goes into the cell and he sees Charlton Heston, I do wish he was a little bit crazier.
Like full on insane.
Like just welcome to the madhouse, B-Dog.
Oh yeah, if he was doing like Dennis Hopper from Apocalypse Now, yeah.
I do love that. Also, I'm sure Heston had in his contract, when me and Little Me have to fight, I want to beat the shit out of him constantly. Like that whole scene is just Taylor beating the shit out of not Taylor.
I love fight choreography from the 60s. The big giant swing cowboy punches. The Captain Kirk double fisting on the neck.
You can always save yourself by just pushing someone away with your foot.
Yeah, John Wayne always had the double punch. Like there was this weird like one. It was like he punched, but his hands stopped the punch. For like he's like
it's like a baseball swing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, he was like it was a baseball swing. You're like, why are you? I've seen it in a million John Wayne movies. Like, why are you hitting people like that? At what point does that make sense? But yeah, I agree. Fight choreography,
it's just
especially
a zany good time, and then it's a good setting too, right? The weird like spiky dildo walls, and
yeah, it's awesome.
Nova comes in and fucks this guy up. It's good. I really dig this part of the movie, right?
Yeah, like the back half of this movie is fucking cool.
It's full of fun stuff, right? Even if it's a little clunky at times, it's fun. Like when they go into the Subterranea and we're seeing like remnants of New York City buildings, right? With these wonderful like painted backgrounds.
Right.
Love it, right? We get in and we meet the mutants, right? And they're able to like destroy your body from inside and make you do shit. Awesome. Love all that. I love the idea that they think they're this peaceful race, but they're using their powers almost exclusively for evil. Right, but again, if that's the thing that I'm missing, right? Just give me like 20 more minutes of movie where I actually like, it's like the thing they did in The Matrix 2, where Neo can't sleep anymore, so he walks down to the engineering level, so we can just see what this city is doing, how it exists, right? They have the orgy at the start and then the engineering level. So you're like, okay, I perfectly understand this life, right? They don't do this with the mutants. We see the 8 of them. But it's like, how are they procreating for 2,000 years? Do they even have to procreate? What are they eating, right? What do they do to, like, pass the time when there's no one around to fucking taser?
It's like they just started existing. That's, like, a bigger thing. Is like, You're just like, that's the problem with it is it's like a throw-in, and you're like, there's no justification for why they're here. Thematically, sure. Like, you can make it up. Like, that's, again, like, it's the same logic you apply to like, oh, it can't go through ape skulls, this telekinesis somehow.
Right.
But it does feel like that feels like a throw-in, and it shouldn't, because these characters are like cool and really interesting.
And here's the bigger point, right? They are the society of humans that Charlton Heston wished we would become. Right? They are this utopian human version of what we had. So Charlton Heston's Taylor meeting the people that he wanted us to become and finding that they're still fucking flawed and horrible is perfect for the sequel, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what he wanted. He wanted us to be these high-minded creatures that didn't kill for game, or at least kill each other for sport, right? There we are. This is exactly what Taylor wanted us to be. There they fucking are, and we don't have maybe not even a second where he's grappling with his wish.
There is an interesting thing to be like, there's stuff if you just do a rewrite. Like or if they had just done a second pass, like if they can't control ape minds, that'd be really interesting. Like if they used to, this has been 2,000 years. If they used to have the power to control human minds, but humans on the surface just got dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And so controlling human minds meant nothing. If that power just means nothing, and it's not like you're going to do it to your own people.
That's pretty cool.
Because the people in charge are the apes. You have no power anymore.
Right.
That's interesting.
Or if they were able to control and like form like a barbarian horde of feral humans.
Yeah. I actually think that's
right.
cool.
Like maybe they
Yes.
these other humans have also been decreasing because these people have just been running them. You know what I mean? That would be cool too.
This is a good one. So if the studio had been able to convince Charlton Heston to just full blown do a sequel, like, hey man,
just fucking
come in and just do the whole thing. Like, we'll pay you whatever you want. We'll give the whole goddamn thing to charity. I don't give a shit. If it started with him getting
we'll
captured,
give the NRA so much money if you fucking show up and do
we
this
will
movie.
let the NRA put a plate at the beginning of this goddamn movie. If you show up to be doing
we will build dummy places that look like places you people like to go to murder others and stock it with clones so you can shoot away all day.
Instead of this being New York, we will make this underground Dallas, Texas. That's how we're dedicated.
A Ponderosa dinner establishment. That's what it'll be.
But if you had made Charlton Heston, like discover these people, and then that's him. Like like Griffey was saying, like if you do the Matrix Reloaded thing where he discovers these people and literally just has to sit with them for most of the movie. And then you cut back and forth between like the apes invading the Forbidden Zone and this guy realizing that literally nothing good has happened to humanity since he's supposedly gone away. Since at the curve, that's a great fucking movie.
Yeah, that'd be a cool Twilight Zone type thing too. Like Griffey is saying, if we could make them seem like they were truly like had risen above, and that they were living together and helping each other, and it was just like, you know, like whatever kind of Planet of the Apes bullshit you want, like the people above ground didn't work with each other. Look what happened. They became beasts. Yeah. Like whatever. And Charlton Heston is like, I like it here. And then like whatever, it's just like time to pray. Everybody takes their faces off. And there's like, that would have been a cool reveal.
Totally.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Those mutants give you so many storytelling options that were just not explored. Whether they're controlling the feral humans, whether they've forsaken humans above ground and they're just like these, you know, mind-melding wussies, right? Whatever the fucking word would be, right? Because we even get this moment where Nova finally says, Taylor, and that's what stops the fight, right? It's awesome. So we see that she is, again, there's no physical malformity that stops him from talking, right? So he is having an effect on her. Those humans above can become more. Right, so he's right at this fucking fulcrum of all these storytelling possibilities
that just never come,
and we just don't do much with it, right?
Like,
and so that's what bums me out. Is I love the weird sci-fi elements of this. They have all the fucking fun stuff in the ingredient bowl. They just don't mix all the way,
right?
And I know I keep doing what ifs, but like if they are the communists, right? The whole thing is. Their power is in illusion. Like USSR's power was in their propaganda and the fact they had a bomb. Like you're making a point. I see that you're making a point. What if the non-speaking people on the ground are their proletariat? They keep them from speaking using their mind control.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go nuts, because clearly you do.
Totally.
Let's go
nuts. Clearly they wanted to go fucking insane. They wanted to push it to the... You don't add fucking irradiated mutants to just wear robes. Like they had somewhere they wanted to go with this fucking thing. And they just never quite pushed it far enough, right?
Right. It's strange. Like you watch this movie and you can see they're trying to accomplish something. Like thematically, like they're trying to push the story forward as to like what they're, but I think because the mutants come in so late in the movie, like so fucking late in this movie, I had forgotten how long it took to get here. Like, again, it's like 40 minutes. I'm like, this is a long nature documentary.
Everything you remember is from this mutant
and this movie is like an hour and 20 minutes long. So 40 minutes is
like everything I remember about. I gotta be honest. Like, other than Ursus's speech, I forgot almost everything else about this movie, except
and
for
Sarah
when they
for
get
sure
to the
being like,
subterranean.
"Yo, the second human I've kissed." Like she's developed a new kink for sure.
Yeah, she's for sure.
That lab is fucking gone wild now. She's just
she'll
over there
get it.
fucking lipping
She'll
everyone up.
get it.
But yeah, it ends in this very nihilistic place, right? I actually think the ending of this movie is awesome.
I think
Even
the
if
ending's
it's
great.
not, I feel like it's so nihilistic at the end that I don't know if there's a different way to go, but I think for the movie they set up, right? So Heston, they jump this guard and they see Nova get shot.
Yeah.
And he just is like, we should let them all die. This is what it always comes to, right? He's all fucking pissed off. And I was like, all right, we've seen a man finally fucking break, right? You've seen apes, you've seen mutants. The one thing he loved on this earth, maybe. We don't really know that much, but, at least the thing that he was interested in gets blown away. She is an innocent of sorts. He just fucking loses his mind, right? And then we go to this room where the gorillas are assaulting the peace-giving missile. All that shit really works for me. Yeah. But, Jay, I'll toss this to you. Did you expect this ending? Because I feel like especially a lot of us watch this, younger guys, right? It's kind of this fun sci-fi romp. Subtext aside, this ending got fucking bleak. What do you make of this ending?
What I make of it is there is a message. The message is that the Cold War is not the right way. The bomb is scary. But they already did that with the first one. But whoever was making this, again, remembered the things that the reviewers said about the first movie. And they're like, that last shot where it's just waves crashing. We got to leave people fucked up.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to make another one of these. Blow up the fucking planet.
Yeah.
But sci-fi is fun, so we'll see you in the third movie.
Yeah.
Because this movie made money because they didn't spend any.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, the subtext of this guy being like, this is our god. They waste him because he's different. And then they're like, bring it down with ropes. And Zeus is like, no, dude, it's a human weapon. It's dangerous. They're like, fuck that.
Fuck that. Let's fucking do it.
All right, I'm vibing with what they're putting down, right? This feels very, very pointed.
I love how
dude,
I love how the
fucking,
gorilla army
waste...
literally just turns into like drunk frat guys trying to pull down like a statue.
They're just climbing it, they pull it down. They fucking waste other Taylor. So like truly completing his journey into fucking useless ass character.
Yeah.
They just fucking shoot that motherfucker in the head. Psh. And then Taylor, I can't remember what he says, but he says to Zeus, right? He's like, help me stop this. He goes, why would I help you? Humans are evil. Right? And he's like still fucking spouting the party line, and Heston's just like, you bloody bastard. Right? And as he collapses on the nuclear detonator.
And then
then we just cut out to the It's a Wonderful Life, Clarence and God. And that was the end of planet Earth, the little blue dot.
Yeah, and I love that.
I love that
little,
too.
That little all this was for nothing.
Literally
everything
nothing.
And if
it also points out that there's a god somewhere who's just like, well, that went tits up.
Well, and we could we could retroactively pretend that the movie, the first part of the movie was pointless because that's the point of the movie is just all
there
this
is
fighting,
this
all this battling,
these first
all this
two
blood.
movies have like a hardcore nihilism beat.
So
where it's
much.
just like they're gonna end like, well, we fucked that up.
Well, also, it's the apes again, right? So what they're saying is that anything that achieves a sufficient level of consciousness, this
Fucks
is
it
the
up.
inevitable outcome of all of it. There will be fighting and power and greed, and
Well,
we
this
will
is that
fucking
doomsday
annihilate
clock
everything.
thing. Like we're still doing the doomsday clock thing. Like, I think we're like 90 seconds to midnight. And I'm like, what happens when we hit midnight?
Well, I think there's a lot of us that have no humans need to stay around. We're important. I think a lot of us are like, yeah, we kind of have fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Like when we go, it'll be like our own fault. This movie's saying whatever comes to replace us, that's gonna happen to them too, right?
Yeah.
That if you are aware of your place in this thing, and you have to confront your uselessness, right, in the grand picture of existence, someone's gonna blow everything up.
I wish Taylor had a little bit more agency as far as pushing the button.
Yeah.
Because that would make his narrative go complete full circle from the moment we met him until now. If he did Snake Plissken at the end of Escape from, was
LA.
that New York or LA?
It's
Whatever.
LA.
Yeah. If he just
Very
lit up
rarely do you say a movie needs more Escape from L.A.
just that last shot, if they were just like, there's nothing you can do, he lights a cigar, there's always something you can do, and then like, slams the button.
Yeah, because he kind of does it as like a
just,
final
sort of
death
like-
spasm.
Sort of just like, even like he just got shot and he just goes, whatever the 1969, 1970 version that you could get away with of just like, fuck it, and then push the button.
Just quietly to himself. Damn.
I get that I want
You
to
finally did it too.
right now.
It does
yeah,
have this really cool
honestly,
Event Horizon moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the ending. I don't know that it feels like it somewhat undercuts the two movies we've just watched because it's so fucking pointless.
I feel like, but see, like, Jay's got a point, though. Because, like, to me, it is, dude, this budget just got slashed. There's no way we're making another one of these. Just kill this fucker.
Yeah.
Well, I understand, but it leaves us thinking like the apes like Cornelius and Zira and the humans like Nova, that these people that like there's still a hope that things can go right.
Right.
They're just under the boot at the end.
But isn't
of this,
it like
right?
right? Isn't it like the most that's I think that actually is the saddest part. That's the true nihilism, and like just like the true sadness of the end of the story is like, instead of thinking of all these like all the Ziras and Corneliuses and Novas of the world who are trying to who see the world as something other than just like, oh, we're just gonna repeat what we did the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of that, no, fuck it. Everything needs to blow
Yeah,
up
but
because
then
like, that is.
But then we look toward the future, or should I say the past, and Zira and Cornelius literally give us a second chance and reset the timeline, because it does end up towards the same end. Apes do evolve. The world does get blown up, but humans can talk this time.
The next movie is a full-on bootstrap paradox, right? We've talked about this on the show before, but there's a great opening of a Doctor Who episode where Peter Capaldi's addressing us, the audience, from the TARDIS, right? And he just says that one time he wanted to go meet Beethoven, I think it was, right? Because he loved Beethoven music. So he goes back to where Beethoven was supposed to have been born, and he meets this guy. He's like, hey, I'm Beethoven. He shows him all of his like famous compositions, and he's like, what? I don't play piano. Like, what? I've never written anything. Then goes home and like writes all this music that Capaldi loved, right? So it's, where did the music come from the first time, right? The doctor shows it to Mozart. Mozart makes it so then the doctor can find it and show it to Mozart. That is exactly where we end up in the next film, right?
Yeah, totally.
Is this whole timeline led to Cornelius and Zira, who then go back and restart the timeline.
Well, I'm
which is
gonna
pretty
go
interesting.
ahead and question your police work there, Lou, because this isn't a bootstrap paradox, because it creates a new beginning. This is a whole new timeline. It changes things, because by the time we're at Battle for the Planet of the Apes, we have apes and speaking humans working together, and it's because the apes came up already knowing what was going to happen. The humans knew what was going to happen, and they weren't led by the lawgiver. They weren't led by an orangutan. They were led by Caesar, a chimpanzee. Right.
Well, Ralph, I'll question your police work, because that could all happen still in the timeline. We'll fight about it over the next 3 movies. But no, I am excited to get to the next 2. I really enjoy the next 2. I think they're super fun. This one, again, it's very memorable, weirdly enough.
I think that's the thing. It's oddly memorable. It's oddly memorable.
And I think that's a credit, right? For a movie that kind of has some really big swings and misses.
Yeah.
It does connect on enough that it's still like a fun entry into the Planet of the Apes franchise.
I think it's oddly memorable because it ends so definitively. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ. That is, because it's like, that's depressing. Also, God comes in with a sweet voiceover. He's like, well, I fucked that up. I'll try again later.
I always, I don't know why. When I was a kid, I always considered that to be the lawgiver.
Okay.
It could be. He's their God.
Yeah.
Whatever deity you choose for it to be, it is just like one of those guys. Like,
he's their Buddha, or their Muhammad, like a real
Muhammad,
dude who was back there somewhere saying stuff.
A real dude that's like murder and oppress another species on the planet.
But you're just like, well,
You know, I don't know
Try it
who the
again later.
lawgiver was, but I'm kind of with him.
Because in part 5, they do have the lawgiver in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, so he is.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
at
No,
one
okay,
point
that's
a
why
real
I-
orangutan.
That's why I think that, because at the end of battle or something, the
Yeah.
lawgiver like talks to camera, right?
That was a big thing as we finally saw the lawgiver. So he was a person who became deified, or an ape that became deified. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's such
You know
a
who it is?
it's a
You know who it is,
strange
right?
movie. The lawgiver.
in battle, who the actor?
Who?
Is it
Fucking
John Huston?
John Huston.
Yeah, nailed it. Oh, that's
A lot.
awesome. How the fuck did they get John Huston to do that?
Why
We're
the
gonna
fuck
slap
not?
some makeup on you. That's a great
That's
testament
actually-
to the franchise.
That's actually something. Ursus. So Ursus is this actor who was in the Manchurian Candidate. His name is hang on. His name is James Gregory. He's John Island in the Manchurian Candidate. Originally, they offered it to Orson Welles, and Orson Welles didn't want to do it.
Ursus?
Yeah, Orson Welles didn't want to do it because he was going to be in makeup the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know about getting Orson on a horse at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's pretty rotund at this point.
Like, I think he had
Orson's
fully
a
like just embraced his hedonistic lifestyle at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're getting me really excited to see Charlton Heston in ape makeup in 2001,
Yeah,
hanging out with Marky.
yeah.
But-
Maki.
But yeah, beneath is beneath, and now we're above.
It's beneath.
We
Yeah,
escape
now
now.
we go. Now we escape beneath for the next Planet of the
we're
Apes
about
movie.
to go into the swinging 60s, baby.
Hell yeah, I love this one too.
I fucking
Conquest
love
is the one
Escape.
I really like, but it's nice to go back and watch Escape.
Actually,
to build
go.
into Conquest. So
Go.
That's it for Beneath
Go
the Planet of the
anyways.
Apes. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We will see you next with Escape from Planet of the Apes, as it is Damn Dirty April, and we're covering all these fucking movies. So keep watching with us, keep hanging out with us. Jay, tell the people where they can find you online.
At J Rollins Art, Jay Rollins Art. Oh, and last time I said, come see me if you're in Philadelphia on the 27th. I forgot this is coming out in April. Don't go to that place. I won't be there. On the 27th of April.
This is our own time loop. Yeah, our own time loop has been created. I mean, just the tens of people that we're going to get to come to your show are going to be devastated. That's it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.